recorded on location at Canadian Forces Base Valcartier. This is Army News.
From Valcartier, welcome to Army News. In this newscast, we have the story of a prisoner of war camp and the procedures by which prisoners are processed. I will speak with Colonel Yves Duhamel as he gives us an overview of Exercise Noble Guerrier here in Valcartier. We also have the story of a live-fire exercise and a profile of our combat engineers. But we begin our show with the return of soldiers from Afghanistan. A period of 6 months will see a lot of changes. Babies are born, children grow, and sometimes the calendar year changes. But for 130 soldiers from the 3rd Battalion of the 22nd Regiment, it was about coming home after 6 months in Afghanistan. I had the opportunity to be at the airport.
Three days from now, it'll be 7 months that I left Canada, so it was long.
The RCR battle group, as you know, lost 3 soldiers. This battle group was fortunate. The commanding officer brought everybody home. Must feel pretty a good sense of pride.
Yes, indeed, yes. It was good. We didn't lose anybody. Unfortunately, I was there when Corporal Murphy died. I was on the ground. I was already on the ground, so it was kind of stressing, but we got over that.
Overall, it's a fantastic life experience. This is what I joined for, and I have no regrets about what I've done down there. It's incredible. I actually wish everybody could do the same thing.
With the completion of Roto 1 of Operation Athena, the 3rd Battalion of the 22nd Regiment has now become the first Canadian battle group to return from Afghanistan with all of its soldiers. Our only hope is that future Canadian battle groups will be just as fortunate. Sergeant Craig Reed, Army News, Quebec City.
Hello, I'm Mario Lemieux, and you're watching Army News.
No one spends time wanting to be behind bars, let alone what life must be like as a prisoner of war. I had the opportunity to see the procedures the military police employ when processing a prisoner into a POW camp.
The moment that the prisoner of war is brought here, a guard that takes charge of him, escorts him to the zone of reception, the reception zone. Here we have a register, so we take down different information about the prisoner of war, including the 5 essential questions that the Geneva Convention allows us to give, and that the Geneva Convention orders the prisoner of war to give to us, which is the rank, the service number, last name, first name, and date of birth. After that, he is being given a search, so we can verify if there's no weapons hidden on him, on his person, or if there's any documents relevant for the G2, because a divisionary cage also has a G2 service here that interrogates the prisoners of war. After that, the prisoner of war is escorted to the medic, because the medic needs to do a medical checkup on him, see if there's any allergies, if he's diabetic, if there's any injuries, any uncomforts. After that, the prisoner of war is brought to the main entrance of the gates. Over here, another guard takes charge of the prisoner of war and directs him to the cubicle which is assigned to him.
In 1949, the Geneva Convention specific to the treatment of prisoners of war was revised. For the soldiers deployed here on Exercise Noble Warrior, it was indeed a lesson learned in how prisoners of war are to be treated. Sergeant Craig Reed, Army News, Valcartier. One of the activities of Exercise Noble Guerrier was live fire assaults at fire team, group, and section levels. Sergeant Cynthia Fontaine was there, and she filed this report.
The firing range plays an important role in training reservists each year. Exercise Noble Warrior in Valcartier provided such an opportunity to reservists from the 34th Brigade Group in Montreal and the 35th Brigade Group in Quebec. Captain Turcotte explains.
These really are individual as well as partners maneuvers, where people are called to improve on security on the pads. They need to practice their instinctive target response in case a target appears, as well as practice communicating amongst themselves. After the bush line, people regroup in sections and some are pulled out in order to participate in the next part of the exercise. If this doesn't occur, they participate in group attacks.
The way it works is that command section each take their group, divide them up into pairs, and then have them practice real targets.
It's my first time in a camp and it's a real experience. If you've never done it, you're missing something.
While Exercise Noble Warrior will include several training opportunities throughout the week, the ranges remain one of the most important aspects of military training. This is Sergeant Cynthia Fontaine reporting for Army News at Canadian Forces Base Valcartier.
Hi, I'm Wayne Gretzky and you're watching Army News.
One of the key elements of the combat arms are the combat engineers. Sergeant Cedric Hamel has their profile.
The combat engineer trade is one of the most versatile in Canadian Forces, which includes many different tasks.
We have the network of barbed wire. This is the first obstacle over there, therefore the closest to the enemy advance. The barbed wire will be surrounded by a minefield, anti-tank mines, and then the second obstacle, these chevaux de frise, which consist of a timber with projecting spikes pointed at the ends that will be spread out all over the road. Here we have the concertina fence type 2, and just behind us we have the fourth obstacle, which is the log crib, where our main effort is focused. This is my main responsibility for this mission.
How do you find this exercise?
I find it fun. We are with the 9th here, we have a good team spirit, and I get to meet the new recruits.
Today we see road obstacles that need to be constructed. There are also crossing for assault boats, the laying of landmines, the pontoon bridge, and more. During the 7 days of the Noble Guerrier exercise, engineer reservists from all over Quebec will train by performing and completing different missions and tasks. This is Sergeant Cedric Hamel reporting from Noble Guerrier in Valcartier.
For more information on your Army and other stories Army News has covered, visit your website at army.gc.ca.
Hi, I'm Martin Brodeur of Team Canada, or the New Jersey Devils, and you're watching Army News.
Colonel Yves Duhamel is the Director of Exercise Noble Guerrier here in Valcartier, and he joins me now. Thank you for your time, and good morning, Colonel.
Good morning, Sergeant.
Sir, how many soldiers make up Exercise Noble Guerrier?
1328 members were on the exercise. We have, it's about 25% of our establishment, but at the moment we have twice as much in uniform because we do have about 1,300 to 1,400 people that are on mission or elsewhere on tasking across Canada.
Tell us about the training these soldiers are doing this week.
It's a sub-unit level training in a cadre of a sub-unit. The Armored Reconnaissance has done a footborne OPs on the base to go through the drills and all that. For the artillery, they had their firing exercise previous our arrival, and after that they were used as the enemy. And the infantry had 4 training activities. The first one was the fighting in build-up area. They have a real fire exercise at section level. They had the patrolling, and they had the airborne operation. The engineers were working on mobility, counter-mobility, and on a floating bridge on the Lac Saint-Joseph as well. And the MPs were working on security, and they had a cage, a POW cage to establish.
In your opinion, do you think the goals that you set out to complete for this exercise are being met, sir?
Our aim were met. The exercise was relevant. It was challenging for the troops, and we did want that to be a retention exercise as well. So it was met. They learned a lot. They learned at a good level, and all the officers and NCOs that were the cadre to the troops there should be proud of what they've done during the week.
Quickly, sir, do you have any words for your soldiers?
We just went through a quick briefing. We did identify what was right, what we did well, and we identified some shortcomings. So we will enhance what went well, and we will work on correcting our shortcomings. So the next exercise will be good, will be great, and I just encourage the members to come back and to talk that over with the members that were stuck with personal reasons or their civilian employments, so that they can take some time off and join them for the exercise.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
This is Army News, your news for your Army, and we would like to hear from you. We welcome your feedback. Please visit your website at army.gc.ca. With that, you're up to date. Thanks very much for taking the time to join us today. From Valcartier, I'm Sergeant Craig Reed.